Listening to Cassie Ventura's testimony at the Diddy trial is nauseating. How could a pretty, talented woman like Cassie put up with this sleaziness for 10 years? The question that comes to many people's minds: why, Cassie, why couldn't you leave when it started? Why do women put up with this horrible shit and stay silent? As someone who lived through an emotionally abusive relationship, well, the reason is complicated. First and foremost is the power and age dynamics. The pair met in 2005 when Cassie was 19 years old, young, naive, trusting, and starry-eyed, while Sean Combs, Diddy, was 37 years old, street-smart, manipulative, suave, and entitled. Like all narcissists, he knew how to charm and manipulate. Cassie was just the perfect prey, ambitious and highly impressionable. Diddy puffed about what he could do for her career and her life, and dreamy Cassie fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Cassie signed a 10-album deal with Diddy's record label Bad Boy Records. Under the guise of being her mentor and guide, Combs wormed his way into Cassie's life, the generous, benevolent benefactor. Wonder, where were her parents when all this was being played out? According to the People magazine article, Cassie is very close to both her parents, Regina and Roderick Ventura. If they're her biggest support system, why didn't they get suspicious and protective of their daughter when this grown, almost 40-year-old man was sniffing around their 19-year-old daughter? Most telling is their absence during Cassie's testimony in court. Only her husband is present. The federal government has charged Sean Combs with trafficking, racketeering, and other crimes. My guess is her parents were the type who, as long as the money and privileges flowed in, they willfully looked away. Diddy was the ultimate success story. His Bad Boy Records turned fledgling artists into superstars. Easy money and greed blind many to the harsh reality of what it entails. Diddy love-bombed Cassie with expensive gifts, apartments, bought her a car, and took her to all A-list events. Cassie must have been over the moon. Like all abusers, Diddy slowly took control over her life. Once he had Cassie firmly under his grip, Diddy began to show his true colors. To circumvent her objections to his obnoxious sexual demands, he introduced Cassie to drugs. When in love, many small things can start as consensual, but with someone manipulative and controlling, the dynamics slowly turn into something more sinister. Add drugs to the mix, and you gradually lose your moral and cognitive judgment. Slowly, she was sucked into the sinkhole of a crazy, dangerous man who had immense wealth and power at his disposal. She had one major hit, and he must have continued to dangle potential future hits as long as she towed his line and was submissive. Anyone who has been in an abusive relationship stays because they have been brainwashed into believing that this is their only way to the life they want. We keep waiting for the love-bombing persona to come back, that fantasy person who was so good to us, who made us feel special. You're stuck in a state of cognitive dissonance. What is real? You aren't sure anymore. It can take years or decades for someone to recognize what is happening. It must have been a painful, shameful realization that all the repugnant freak-offs, the compromises, were all for nothing. When the reality of that sinks in, you are frozen in terror of what you did, what you put up with. Cassie must have felt extremely ashamed and horrified by the nightmare her life had turned into. She was Diddy's puppet. He controlled what she did, who she interacted with, and even who she slept with. When she tried to break away from his terrorizing hold, he threatened her with blackmail and violence. That footage of Diddy assaulting her when she tried to escape is just a small snippet of what he's really like when you refuse to toe his line and dare to go against his wishes. Allegedly, he has said, "I make people disappear, I ruin careers." And at that time, Diddy could do no wrong. No one would have believed her. There's also the possibility that had she come out with accusations earlier, she may not have been here today. It's never black and white or easy to walk away from an abusive man, particularly if he is rich, powerful, and connected. Initially, Cassie was blinded by her desire and ambition. She put up with the demeaning treatment for the money, for the lifestyle. Maybe, she thought, if she gave in, things would improve. That Diddy would love her. Unfortunately, abusers never improve. They only get worse. More so when they have the money and the army of supporters who look the other way. She stayed with him for 10 years until she was 30. Maybe Diddy wasn't that into her anymore. He wanted a younger and innocent woman who would compliantly do his bidding. Maybe Cassie grew stronger and wiser, but more importantly, she had support. Maybe her current husband helped her take that difficult step. We will never know the whole truth of what transpired between Diddy and Cassie. One thing we do know is that behind all the glitter and glamour is a sordid existence of compromise and compliance. This should be a lesson to all young, starry-eyed wannabes who want quick success, fame, and money. Be ambitious, but don't let the lure of money and fame make you compromise your values and principles. All the money in the world is not worth it if you lose your soul.